guys, TRex here, and here for a special video. Yes, all of you read the title correctly. I have an awesome idea for a Nintendo Cinematic Universe. This is, believe it or not clickbait. Whether it's awesome or not can be decided up to you, but in my opinion, I think it's pretty awesome. There are 13 movies that I have right in this brain. 4 trilogies and 1 standalone movie. The 4 trilogies consist of the Mario Bros. Trilogy, the Legend of Zelda trilogy, and the Metroid trilogy, and then the oh, that's 3, not 4. I can't count, everybody. And the last trilogy is the Smash Bros. Trilogy, and the standalone movie is a Pokemon one. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, Graph. Look at Graph, and thank you all for stopping by this video and hear what I have to say. So what I'm going to do regarding this video is I'm going to split these into segments. There will be chapters on this video that you guys can navigate your way through. I'm going to give a synopsis of all of the different films I have, and there will be like a plot that I'll explain, and then there will be spoilers in there, so if you don't want to look at the spoilers, you can just kind of navigate your way throughout the video so you can avoid those if you wish. Or if you want to watch the spoilers, feel free to just watch the whole thing if you want. Whatever you want to do, you got options. So let us begin. Starting with the first movie, Super Mario Bros. I have all the synopsises of the movies written down here so I don't get too off track. After crash landing in a bizarre yet colorful world, 2 super-powered brothers must defeat the monster who threatens the peace. I'm still kind of learning how movie synopsis, is that the plural word for it? How stuff like that works, so I don't know if, I think it'll use the words after, when, and must a lot, so just be ready for that. Yeah, this movie is pretty self-explanatory. So the Mario Bros are born in the Mushroom Kingdom. This is before Princess Peach ruled. Just keep in mind, everyone is like the same age, so don't worry about, like, weird stuff going on. So they're born, they live in the Mushroom Kingdom for a few years, when all of a sudden, a giant wormhole appears in the sky and sucks the 2 Mario Bros in, and it transports them to Brooklyn. By the way, the wormhole doesn't get explained this movie, so there's that. And then they live in Brooklyn, New York for 20 years, when they finally get transported back to the Mushroom Kingdom. They end up there. The older folks of the humble Toad Town recognize the Mario Bros, and they decide to throw a party for them. Now Bowser, who has been scheming to kidnap Princess Peach, who is now ruling the Mushroom Kingdom at this time, he wants to steal her heart power, because her heart power is the strongest power source in the entire world that these people live in. And Bowser knows if he can take over the Mushroom Kingdom, he can take over any kingdom, because the Mushroom Kingdom is the largest kingdom out of all of the other kingdoms in that said world that they are living on. There are like many kingdoms within the Mushroom Kingdom. For the most part, they all live in prosperity, except for Bowser's kingdom. Bowser wants control. He wants power. So when the Mario Bros come back, Bowser sees this as an opportunity. He and his little goons, they make this device that can kind of leech Peach's heart power a little bit, if you will. So before the Mario Bros even got there, Peach has been able to fend off Bowser by herself, using her heart power. What it pretty much is, it's just like telekinesis. She's able to trap someone in like this little heart force field and then just kind of yeet them wherever she wants to. It's pretty OP. But when Bowser finally gets his little dampener device, Peach's heart power doesn't stand a chance against him, and he's finally able to kidnap the princess. After this happens, the Mario Bros realize that they are essentially the only ones who can find Bowser's castle, travel across the Mushroom Kingdom, and save the princess and the heart power. So now I'm going to get into spoilers a little bit. So regarding the wormhole that the Mario Bros go into when they were kids. When they arrive in Brooklyn first, they come out of a faucet in a bathtub in a bathroom of this random family. And they got found by this family who adopts them. You guys will love this. And then when they go back, they're working as plumbers now, and they get sucked into the drain of the same bathtub that was in their original family's house. So that's how they get to and from the Mushroom Kingdom, if that makes sense. It won't right now, but if you see it on the big screen, it will. The Mario Bros will meet friends along the way. Yoshi, the DJ at the party, he'll go to like the Sand Kingdom, he'll go to Donkey Kong's Kingdom, he'll hit up a haunted house where they meet King Boo. They'll go to New Donk City, which is where the final fight will be, and then Bowser's Castle. So they'll be fighting Bowser at Bowser's Castle, and then this part comes straight out of the 2009 Super Mario Bros. Game. They seemingly defeat Bowser. Magic Koopa swoops in, makes Bowser all giant. You guys know what I'm talking about. He practically destroys the entire castle, and then they have this giant fight on the Badlands, where Donkey Kong's crew comes in. Mario yeets a Mega Mushroom at Donkey Kong. Bowser and Donkey Kong fight Godzilla v King Kong style, and it's a glorious fight. Mario and Luigi find Magic Koopa's wand, and they return Bowser to normal size, where they seemingly capture him. The only problem is, on their way to New Donk City, Bowser escapes his confinement. When they're all in New Donk City, Bowser goes to the tallest tower in the city. There's an antenna on top of it. He kidnaps Peach once again, and he wants to put her heart power into the antenna so he can use his heart power to his heart's content. And the bros realize that the only way they can defeat Bowser is if they work together. Just keep in mind, these brothers are inseparable, but Luigi couldn't help but feel like he was always in Mario's shadow his whole life, whether that was in Brooklyn or this world. And so the brothers have to have a moment of reconciliation where they decide, hey, we need to truly work together if we want to save the day. So the moral of that story is, it's basically Fast and Furious. Family is everything. Brotherhood is everything. The only way you can overcome trials and troubles is if you work together. Obviously, that was very Cliff Note-y. That's what all these movies are going to be, because I gotta explain this as fast as I can while also getting the important plot points and stuff like that. So now for the end credit scene, because these movies are going to have end credit scenes too. They started playing Mario Kart. Well, they actually are in Mario Kart, so yeah, you know what I mean. And Mario and Luigi are kind of neck and neck for first place. And on the final turn in the final race, Mario seems to get ahead when he gets sucked into the wormhole again. Luigi doesn't see it happen, so he goes by that same turn, and he wins the race, but he's wondering where Mario went. Mario goes into this, it's in like this dark space, okay? Kind of like subspace, and he crashes his go-kart, and he sees a celestial being standing there, waiting for him. He's a light blue being floating in the air, and he slowly turns around at Mario. Mario asks who he is, and the being says, I need your help. And that's the end of that. Alright, so that was the Mario movie. Obviously that was very Cliff Note-y, but I need to be able to explain this stuff quickly, but try to keep the important plot points in there, if you know what I mean. Moving on to The Legend of Zelda. After a young Hylian, is it Hylian or Hylian? I'll just say Hylian. After a young Hylian soldier wakes up from a 100-year slumber, he must regain his lost memories and find out what it means to be a true hero.
T-Rex, you just basically explained the plot of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
There might be a little bit of inspiration in there. This movie is going to be based off of Breath of the Wild, Hyrule Warriors, and a little bit of Wind Waker sprinkled in there. So Link's humble beginnings start on Outset Island, where he lives with his sister and grandmother, much like in Wind Waker. And he wants to be the best soldier around, so he's constantly training. But since he's a kid, he's just playing, so it's pretty cute. But yeah, he thinks he's training. So he's out one night doing his thing when pirates roll up on Outset Island and kidnap him. Their goal was to plunder some awesome treasure there, but they saw a witness there, which in this case was Link. Basically, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So the pirates kidnapped Link, and Link stays with these pirates for a long time. A few years go by, and Link has already started to become one heck of a fighter. His senses and instincts have honed, and he's become a pretty dang good fighter at this point. When one day, the pirates apprehend a young boy with wings from a particular island. The boy's name is Komali. The pirates bring Komali up to Link, and they order Link to kill him. They explain that this boy was spying on them. So Link takes this opportunity to finally stand up to the pirates. He either kills or just beats up everybody, and Link and Komali take over the pirate ship. They return to his home, Dragon Roost Island, where Link meets the rest of Komali's people, the messenger bird people. I don't know what species they're called, but you know what I'm talking about probably. This is where Link also hears that Hyrule is always accepting new warriors and soldiers to join their army. And so Link sees this as a perfect opportunity to join up with them. And Komali wants to go too, even though it's not really traditional for a messenger birds to join the Hyrule army. And so the two of them go to Outset Island first to say their goodbyes to Link's grandmother and sister, and they're off. They join the Hyrule army, and everyone can tell that there's something different about Link. For Link's whole life, he has had enhanced strength, speed, instincts. Basically, he's Black Panther and Captain America. Link learns that the Master Sword is on the outskirts of Hyrule, and if a soldier wants to attempt to get the Master Sword out of the rock that it's in, he must overcome 3 challenges to even have an attempt to do that. The King of Hyrule explains to Link that not a soul has been able to pull the Master Sword out in over 100 years. So Link decides to do these trials. I'm just going to get into a little bit of spoilers, so skip ahead like 10 seconds. Link does the trials, and he is able to pull the Master Sword out of the rock. There's your spoiler. Alright, has it been 10 seconds? So Link is doing all this stuff in the Hyrule army. He's rapidly growing up in the ranks. So Link does all this stuff. It's like a matter of years that he's doing this. He's become kind of a young adult by now. So has Komali. Komali's become a fine spy for the Hyrule army. He's been helping out a lot. When they hear about this threat named Ganondorf, the old locals know him as a tyrannical warlord who tried to take over Hyrule 100 years ago when he was stopped by a young hero wearing green and fell into a deep slumber, and something awoke it, but they don't know what. So the Hyrule army is trying to prepare to defend Hyrule from this Ganondorf fellow, and is trying to find a good way to defend everyone. So keep in mind, these are all flashbacks that Link is having. Alright, Link has woken up 100 years in the future, and he's trying to regain everything that he lost, and trying to adapt to 100 years worth of changes, which is where he also meets Zelda, who is the granddaughter of the Hyrule princess that lived 100 years ago during Link's first time. So now I'm gonna get into spoilers a little bit. Alright, I know I didn't explain the whole story. If I'm going to, there's gonna be a bit of spoilers, so if you want to navigate to the next one, you may do so. Ganondorf is on the verge of taking over Hyrule when Link finally confronts him in a final battle. By this time, Link has not gained full control over the Master Sword. He was able to pull the Master Sword out of the rock, but he still doesn't feel like the sword truly belongs to him. And so what he has to do to beat Ganondorf is cast a curse on the both of them. Do the same curse that the original hero of Hyrule performed on Ganondorf. But to have Ganondorf return to his slumber, Link has to do so as well. So Link casts a curse on both of them, saying, "If Ganondorf shall wake from his slumber, so shall I." And so 100 years later, they both wake up. And so what it means to be a true hero is that Link has to find the true meaning of sacrifice. It gets revealed to him that he sacrificed himself for the wrong reason. All his life, Link wanted to be the best hero, to be remembered as a legend. That's why he sacrificed himself. He cared more about going down as a legend than being someone who actually just wants to protect his friends. And so it gets revealed to him that that's what the meaning of sacrifice is, and that's what it means to be a true hero. And when Link finally learns that 100 years later, that's when he gets full control of the Master Sword and is able to defeat Ganondorf and send him into a slumber without having to have him go into a slumber. And here's the end credits scene for it. Ganondorf is in his slumber. He's in one of the dungeons of Hyrule when someone breaks him out. It's the Master Hand. The Master Hand rolls up to Ganondorf, and he temporarily awakes Ganondorf from his slumber. And the Master Hand recruits Ganondorf to help him look for the subspace particles. You guys don't know they're called the subspace particles yet, but that's what the Master Hand wants. And also, Zelda is sitting in a field when one of these particles, I'll explain what these are later, it lands near Zelda. Zelda wonders what it is, obviously, when the Master Hand and Ganondorf roll up on Zelda and kidnap her. And that's the end credits scene. Alright everyone, the next movie is Metroid. After rescuing an infant Metroid from certain doom, a bounty hunter must protect it from the sinister space pirates. This movie is based on Samus's backstory, Metroid, and a little bit of Super Metroid thrown in there. So we go through Samus's backstory. Basically what it is space pirates invaded her home on an Earth colony, K2L, and killed Samus's parents. This isn't a spoiler, everyone knows this. And Samus is rescued by the Chozo, who raised Samus as one of her own, who gives Samus a power suit and train her to be a good fighter and bounty hunter, and stuff like that. And so Samus grows up, she joins the Galactic Federation, leaves it, does all that stuff that her origin story says, and just goes on missions to help out. I mean, she is a bounty hunter, so she collects money and does all this stuff. But she also does a lot of good for the people, if that makes sense. When all of a sudden she is sent to scout a planet where a large massacre has occurred, she goes to the planets, and a lot of the population of Metroids have been massacred and decimated. Samus discovers this planet, she goes into the caverns, and she finds a surviving baby Metroid, and she decides to keep it. In the games, Samus is the one who decimated the Metroids, but in the movies, she doesn't do that. And so after keeping it for a little while, Samus eventually takes the baby Metroid up to the research station. That Ceres? Is it Ceres? I don't remember what planet it's called, but it's like it's the planet who sponsors the Galactic Federation. I'm sorry, I never played the Metroid games growing up. I did some research, but I'm still not 100% on the names of the planets. So she takes the baby Metroid up to the research station when Ridley attacks it. Ridley successfully steals the baby Metroid, so Samus has to find it. Alright, now I'm gonna get into spoilers. Basically, it is established that Samus has mega beef with Ridley, and it doesn't get explained why until the end of the movie. So after a long time of pursuing Ridley, Samus finally catches up to him and recovers the baby Metroid. And then it gets revealed why Samus hates Ridley so much. So the person leading the Galactic Federation, his name is Adam Malkovich. He is a primary character, and he's the one who sent Samus on these missions, and he's the one who's in charge of the military and the science division. So Adam Malkovich, he's a pretty big deal. But regarding Ridley, it gets revealed why Samus and him have so much beef. I mean, Metroid fans will know this, but new fans will not at first. It gets revealed that Ridley was personally responsible for killing Samus's parents, and Samus has been plotting revenge ever since. And after a while, and some grueling battles with Ridley and the space pirates, Samus finally has Ridley in her clutches. And after showing Ridley her face and reminding him that she was the daughter of the parents that he killed, Samus kills Ridley, as in, she blows his face up. But guess who's watching? Adam Malkovich. He told Samus that he shouldn't have killed Ridley, and he reveals his intentions. That's right, but you didn't expect Adam Malkovich to be the bad guy of this movie. Basically, Adam has the same backstory as Samus in this movie. Relax. But instead of his family being killed by the space pirates, his family was killed by Metroids. So it gets revealed that he was the one who decimated all the Metroids on that planet, not Samus, and that he was working with the space pirates to get rid of all the Metroids. So basically, he was kind of a double agent, and that Adam Malkovich had been advocating for using the energy of the corpses of Metroids as a power source for that planet. So Samus finds out about all of this, and obviously it's disgusting. Adam asks Samus to join him in his quest, but obviously Samus refuses. But Adam was also raised by the Chozo, so he has a power suit of his own. So he's not necessarily Dark Samus, but he's basically a Samus replicant. So the two of them duke it out, and then at the end of the battle, Samus rips Adam's helmet off, and then the baby Metroid eats Adam, and that's how that ends. So the end credits scene for that one, after Samus learns of the messed up methods of using the energy that the Metroid corpses provide that planet, Samus wants to look for a new power source, so they don't have to use the Metroids. She discovers a strong energy source just in this abandoned space shuttle, and so she discovers that it's a subspace particle that made its way onto that ship. Right when she's about to apprehend it, all of a sudden she gets ambushed by Master Hand troops, and the subspace particle turns into a portal and transports Samus to this unknown planet and gets separated from her suit, which gets found by Ganondorf. You guys are gonna love it on the big screen. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense now, but you guys are gonna love it, I swear. So that's the Metroid movie. Next up, we have Pokemon. A young, ambitious Pokemon trainer desires to be the best, but gets caught up in a sinister plot to distribute shadow Pokemon on the black market. If you couldn't tell, this movie's gonna be based on Pokemon Coliseum. But instead of this awesome Wes guy, is his name Wes? He has like 80 different names. But instead of this guy, it's Pokemon Trainer. And it's going to kind of combine Ash's journey with this other thing going on. The movie's going to focus more on this black market thing, which basically consists of this weird energy causing Pokemon to become violent towards people, when Pokemon are just supposed to duke it out against other Pokemon. So not only does, I think his name is Red, but I want to change his name a little bit. Not only does Pokemon Trainer Red want to face these gym challenges and become the champion of the Kanto region, but in this case, Kanto has the first 4 generations of Pokemon, not just Gen 1, just to kind of increase the variety a little bit. Not only does Red want to be the champion of the Kanto region, he must also face this black market, this sketchy black market trade, find out what's causing these Pokemon to become shadow Pokemon, and how to stop this criminal syndicate from taking over the Kanto region with its sketchy methods. Now I'm gonna get into spoilers a little bit. It gets revealed that the shadow Pokemon are caused by subspace particles. By this time, all of these origin stories are kind of happening at the same time, so the subspace particles are traveling to different realms and just causing all kinds of mayhem. So Red has 3 Pokemon that he has. He has a Squirtle, an Ivysaur, and Charizard. He finds these Pokemon the same way he finds them in the Super Smash Bros. Brawl story mode, so there's that. So he finds out who these criminals are, and they're very wealthy businessmen who want to take over the entire Kanto region. So Red must have Pokemon battles with these people to decide the fate of the Kanto region, and also while he's doing gym battles. For the final battle consists of Red's Charizard versus the criminal syndicate's Tyranitar on a falling tower that has a Pokemon stadium on top of it. It's really quite awesome. And he also meets Cynthia. So for the end credits scene, Red is facing Cynthia in a Pokemon battle when all of a sudden, the same wormhole that appeared in the Mushroom Kingdom comes into the Kanto region and starts Pokemon Trainer, as well as his Charizard, Ivysaur, and Squirtle into the portal. And that's the end credits scene. So all this stuff is happening at the same time, and it's about to go down here in a bit. Moving on to Super Mario Bros. The Dark Star. After Bowser discovers a mysterious relic called the Dark Star, the villainous Fawful has sinister plans for it in the Mushroom Kingdom. This is going to be based off of Mario and Luigi, Bowser's inside story. But the inside story is going to happen actually a lot less. Mario and Luigi are still gonna get inhaled by Bowser by the same method that Fawful tricks Bowser in the game, but they're going to be in there for a lot less time. But the Dark Star is going to be in Bowser the whole time. Basically, the whole movie. So how this movie even starts when the subspace particle took Samus to that unknown planet. Well, that same particle, it transported to the Mushroom Kingdom and awoke the Dark Star, which has been hiding under the Mushroom Kingdom for a long time. That's how everyone even finds out about this Dark Star, because its presence just awoke out of nowhere. So this Dark Star is practically possessing Bowser, because the Dark Star is in Bowser's body, copying his DNA. So Mario and Luigi have to help Bowser get the Dark Star out of Bowser. So now I'm going to get into spoilers. So basically all this time, the Dark Star has been feeding on Bowser's DNA. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. And then eventually, Fawful's ambitions will get the best of him. He'll betray Kakleta and attempt to take over the Mushroom Kingdom for himself with the power of the Dark Star and Peach's heart power, what the little heart power that she has left. And so while they're all in Peach's castle, because Fawful had taken over Peach's castle, Dark Bowser awakens. The Dark Star basically comes out of Bowser with Bowser's replicated DNA, and he becomes Dark Bowser, and absorbs the dark power that Fawful had. And so Mario, Luigi, and Bowser have to work together to stop Dark Bowser and Fawful. By this time, the Celestial Being had been assisting them. And by the way, the Celestial Being's name is Taboo. The same one from Super Smash Bros. Taboo finally explains to Mario that these particles that have been appearing in these, different movies in different realms are called subspace particles. There's 4 of them. Basically, they're the Infinity Stones of Nintendo. They're the mother boxes of Nintendo, and only those with magical power can wield them. It takes a lot of energy to be able to wield these particles. And so once they defeat Dark Bowser, they bring the subspace particle to Taboo because he helped them. And Taboo explains to the Mario Bros that once Taboo has the 4 subspace particles, he'll be able to leave the subspace and search for a way to defeat the Master Hand race and bring his people back. That'll get explained later. So that's the sequel for Super Mario Bros. I know it's getting a little less detailed with each movie, but oh man, I just can't wait to pitch this idea to Nintendo and go into more depth with them. I'm just sharing this on the internet, so I have to keep it as condensed as possible. But the idea is in my head. Oh, baby. So next up, Super Smash Bros. The first one, it's finally here. A celestial being enlists the help of Mario to search for powerful allies and find the lost subspace particles. If it wasn't obvious, this story is based on the Super Smash Bros. Brawl storyline on the Wii. But there will be a few changes made here and there. For example, Taboo and Mario are allies, and Taboo explains to Mario that 30 years ago, his people were destroyed by the Master Hand race, and the subspace particles that the subspace deity race had been keeping were lost. And so he wants to get the subspace particles back so he can bring his people back and live in harmony once again. That's why Mario helps him. And so, to help Mario be able to find these fighters that Taboo has scattered onto this planet, he decides to give Mario a little bit of his power. So now Mario can wield the subspace particles, and he can sense the fighters that Taboo has brought to this place. Because by this time, all of the characters that I mentioned have all been transported to this world, and plenty of others that we haven't seen yet. So Mario has to search for these particles while finding fighters to help out. There will be 2 storylines in this, alright? Mario's side and Samus's side. Samus will find fighters of her own, and she'll enlist the help of different fighters to help her look for her power suit, which can hold the particles in one of her little compartment things. Because Samus thinks the subspace particles are dangerous and must be destroyed. But Mario wants to find the subspace particles and give them to Taboo, so he'll be able to bring his people back and destroy the threat of the Master Hand race. So now I'm going to get into spoilers, oh baby. So a lot of the story is the same, with the exception of, for most of the time, Mario and his team controls the Halberd, which is Meta Knight's ship, and for most of the time, that's his form of transportation. He meets Link after a misunderstanding, and they have an awesome fight. They find all sorts of different people. Luigi and Samus work together. They're an awesome team as well. And eventually, they're able to find all the subspace particles, and Samus is able to get her power suit back after she has a fight with Dark Samus. Yeah, Dark Samus is in this. And Meta Ridley, which is a recreation of Ridley's DNA that they're able to put in this giant Mecha Ridley look-alike. And Samus was working with Captain Falcon, Donkey, and Diddy Kong, Fox, and Falco. So that team stays together. And Pikachu. So once these two teams finally settle their differences, they finally decide to help Mario give the particles to Taboo, even though they're very sketchy about it. And all this time, Luigi has been sketchy of it too, ever since he talked to Mario about it back at the Mushroom Kingdom. And so they all meet up with Taboo, where the Master Hand and Ganondorf confront Taboo and try to take him down. Once the teams get there, they give the particles to Taboo, and he's able to whoop the Master Hand. And then after that fight, Taboo rips the Master Hand in half, literally. And then Mario realizes that Taboo wasn't the person that he said he was. And Taboo turns everyone into trophies, except Mario. He pretty much kills Mario because Mario didn't want to join him. And all this time, no one has recruited Sonic, because Sonic was there as well, but no one thought to look for him. But Taboo knew that he sent Sonic there too, and he didn't see them there, so he looked for Sonic. So when Taboo confronts Sonic, Sonic has a special power at being able to hit powerful beings with a special attack that'll get rid of whatever the powerful being is holding, in this case subspace particles. It's much similar to when Sonic loses rings when he gets hit by something. And so Sonic steals 3 of the subspace particles, is able to transport himself to the fallen fighters, who have now turned into trophies. When everyone gets revived, they discover Mario's lifeless body, and Peach and Zelda do everything they can to revive him, and they succeed. But in doing that, they have to get rid of Mario's Taboo power that Taboo has given to Mario. And Mario finally awakens his ability to wield fire without needing a fire flower. And so the whole team confronts Taboo and his subspace army. They transport to different realms and ending their fight in San Francisco, where they have an awesome battle. And when Link realizes that these subspace particles are actually smash balls, he realizes that, makes a reckless decision, and he successfully pierces Taboo with direct subspace. Because the thing is, the way to kill a subspace deity is to directly hit them with subspace, because they can wield subspace. But if subspace enters their system, they'll explode from the inside. So Mario has the other subspace particles, and he forces the subspace particles into Taboo. He blows up, and the day is saved. So that's the Super Smash Bros. Movie. Obviously, a lot of it was the same, but there's a few changes here and there. Oh, and here's the end credit scene. The amount of energy that Mario and Link used to kill Taboo, it was enough to awaken Mewtwo on the Pokemon world. And that's the end credit scene. There isn't a lot to that. But that's the Super Smash Bros. Movie. Up next, we have Metroid Prime, which is obviously the sequel to Metroid. After discovering a promising power source on an unknown planet, Samus Aran stumbles upon a sinister plot by the space pirates who want revenge. A lot of this story is going to stay the same. Basically, the reason why this even happens is because Samus is still looking for a power source that'll replace the energy of Metroids that the Galactic Federation has been using to power up their planet. So in this movie, Samus discovers Phazon on this bizarre planet. After seeing promising energy signatures, she stops by this planet, but she becomes trapped because it is home of a space pirate team who is experimenting on this Omega Metroid that is called the Metroid Prime. For those of my fans who've played Metroid Prime, this is nothing new to you, but I've never played Metroid Prime, but I'm trying to adapt. So now I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers. Play the game, that's the spoilers. There's really not a lot that I'm changing about this. That's how similar this is going to be. Like, this is going to be pretty dang similar to the Metroid Prime game. There's really no reason to change it because this story won't have that much of an impact on the overall Smash Bros. Storyline. Samus is just doing this because she wants another reliable power source on this planet that she's from. So not a lot added to it, but I know that fans of Metroid Prime would love to see that story adapted to the big screen. So I'm not concerned with adding too much to it, if that makes sense. End credits scene. Samus is able to harness Phazon power and transport it and become a reliable power source. The space parts are still not done. Mother Brain has been in hiding for the past 2 movies. She has still not been defeated, so Mother Brain plots her revenge to take down Samus and destroy that planet and go to war with them. That's the end credit scene for that. Moving on, Super Mario Bros. All-Stars. When a tyrannical warlord hijacks the Comet Observatory, the Mario Bros. And their allies must come together and save the galaxy from his wrath. This movie is going to be based on Super Mario Land and Super Mario Galaxy. There's going to be quite a few changes to this, okay? The concept of Luma helping Mario will stay, but the circumstances will be vastly different. So from my peeps who have played Super Mario Galaxy, basically what happens is there is a comet every 100 years that rains down power stars in the Mushroom Kingdom. But in this movie, instead, it's Sarasaland, where Daisy is from. This is a movie where Luigi and Daisy step up. So Titania, who is the villain in this movie, hears about this. He sees this as an opportunity to try and seize the power stars and gain control of the entire galaxy that the Mushroom Kingdom resides in. Because this guy is a planet conqueror. How he does it, he controls a system that has advanced heavily in technology, but not only that, is he's also a telepath. He can control the minds of others. That's how he's able to control worlds so freely. So after Titania takes over the Comet Observatory and makes Rosalina his prisoner, he goes to Sarasaland and kidnaps Daisy and attacks various parts of the Mushroom Kingdom. So in doing this, the entire Mushroom Kingdom decides to rally against Titania, and Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Wario, Waluigi, Bowser, and Bowser Jr., everyone, they decide to work together and save the Mushroom Kingdom. Now I'm gonna get into spoilers. So how Luma gets to Mario is because right before Titania takes over the Comet Observatory, Rosalina sends Luma all the way to Sarasaland to inform Mario of Titania's takeover. And then Luma gives Mario special powers to be able to adapt to cosmic stuff, if that makes sense. So they can't use the subspace particles because the Super Smash Bros. Are holding on to that. And that's the reason Samus couldn't use the subspace particles to power their planet, is because the Super Smash Bros. Were holding on to them. So Mario and them can't use the subspace particles to transport to the Comet Observatory directly because the Comet Observatory has an anti-subspace force field around it. But they still try to use them. Basically, Giga Bowser will make his debut, and the final battle will end on Sarasaland, where Luigi finally awakens his power of being able to wield fire without using a fire flower. And this is where Luigi also learns his special ability he has with the subspace particles, which is the same ability he has in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where he creates a giant force field, which is immune to telepathy. And he's able to harness that power and do large green blasts of fire. So it's basically Mario's special power, but he has that telepathy element to it. He's able to counter this against Titania, and this is why I said Luigi steps up, because his telepathy power will come in clutch against it. But in this movie, Luma's sacrifice still happens after confronting Titania in the Comet Observatory. Before they get transported to Sarasaland, Luma still sacrifices itself to save Mario. So then, after that, they get transported to Sarasaland. And then Rosalina finally meets up with them, and Rosalina makes her debut, and they all fight Titania's army together, and it is awesome. So that's Super Mario Bros. All-Stars. In the end credits scene, throughout this movie, Mario has been seeing visions ever since he and the Super Smash Bros. Defeated Taboo. It was just flashes of light, but in one of his visions, it can be briefly seen that his vision is of Galeem. Moving on, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Link finally has a sequel, everyone. When mages, the protectors of the Triforce, are mysteriously killed, Link and Zelda must uncover the truth behind the attacks. This one is obviously based on The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and I even want to throw in Majora's Mask in there. So by this time, Ganondorf has returned to his slumber, because again, the Master Hand, it was just a temporary thing that he used on Ganondorf to bring him back to life. But by this time, Ganondorf is still in his slumber. When they discover attempts to steal the Triforce have been made. There are ancient mages that protect the Triforce and defend it, but they have been mysteriously killed by a mysterious figure. And by this time, Zelda has gotten a new mage bodyguard, if you will. His name is Aghanim. So now I'm going to get into spoilers. So after attacks have been made against Zelda and the mages that defend the Triforce, it is revealed that Adonime himself was the one who's been killing the mages and trying to steal the Triforce. When Link and Zelda discover this, Adonime sends Link to the Dark World, and he holds Zelda prisoner and tries to force her to manipulate the Triforce to allow Ganondorf to awaken. So the Dark World is going to be a little different. This is where Majora's Mask comes in. He meets Skull Kid, who is an active collector of masks. He meets Skull Kid and everything is pretty awesome. When one day Skull Kid finds Majora's Mask, and then he becomes this giant deadly figure because Majora's Mask has controlled Skull Kid. So by this time, the Dark World is about to be destroyed by a giant moon that's coming this way. So not only does he have to escape the Dark World before the moon crashes on this planet, he also has to defeat Majora while facing dungeons to find more masks to escape. So Link is able to find all the masks, but the only way he can get the last one, Majora's Mask, to escape is if he kills Skull Kid, thus killing Majora's Mask. So Link has to kill Skull Kid and take the Majora's Mask from him to escape. By this time, Adonime has been working on restoring Ganondorf to power, and right when Link returns to Hyrule, Adonime reveals that he has been Ganondorf's subconscious all along, and that Ganondorf had created Adonime to prepare for if he would fall into a slumber again, Adonime would awaken and try to restore Ganondorf. So Ganondorf escapes, but not until telling Link, after crippling Link pretty much. It's brutal what Ganondorf does to Link. Ganondorf tells Link that Link is the only mortal that he has ever come to respect, and he reveals to Link that the original hero who stopped Ganondorf at this time 200 years ago, because, yeah, do the math, that Link now is the reincarnation of the original hero who originally stopped Ganondorf 200 years ago. So Ganondorf pretty much cripples Link, but lets him live. And Ganondorf explains that this is the first time he has ever shown mercy to anybody. And so Ganondorf forces Zelda to come with him, and that's the end of the movie. And for the end credits scene, Ganondorf goes to the grave of the original Link, and he uses dark power to resurrect him from the grave. And this person that he resurrected is now Dark Link, because he's been corrupted by Ganondorf's dark magic. And that's the Legend of Zelda sequel. Up next, The Last Metroid. When the space pirates are seemingly destroyed, Samus must return to her roots on Zebes and face Mother Brain once and for all. This takes place almost immediately after the end credit scene from Metroid Prime, but basically Mother Brain will finally be making her move against Samus, who has been the biggest nuisance against her, because not only is Mother Brain a Metroid, she's also the leader of the space pirates. So Samus has to convince the Galactic Federation that Mother Brain is coming back, and the Galactic Federation must battle the space pirates, while Samus and the baby Metroid, who's still with her, return to Zebes, where they have to face Mother Brain. And now for spoilers. It gets revealed while they are on Zebes. Samus finds Ian Malkovich, Adam Malkovich's brother, who was supposedly dead from the first Metroid movie. But all this time, Ian Malkovich has been held captive by the Metroids for his whole life. So Samus rescues Ian Malkovich from his imprisonment by the Metroids, and Ian assists Samus and the baby Metroid to find a way to defeat Mother Brain. And once they face Mother Brain, she goes through both of her phases. The phases where she's just a brain in a giant jar thing, and then when she turns into that mutated thing, the picture I'm showing. So that's the final battle, when Mother Brain seemingly has Samus pinned down and all hope seems lost. The baby Metroid sacrifices itself to destroy the Mother Brain and save Samus. So The Last Metroid, its title, is quite literal. Mother Brain and the baby Metroid were the last two remaining Metroids. So when those two Metroids were gone, that was it. So peace is finally back on that planet that they're from. I'm just going to call it Ceres. And that's the end of the Metroid trilogy. Now for the end credits scene. There's another unknown planet, which is another stronghold for the Chozo, where they have prepared a new suit for Samus, which is called Prototype Dread, which is based on Metroid Dread, which the game isn't even out yet. So Samus will get a new upgrade in upcoming movies. So that's the end credit scene. Setting her up for greatness. And now moving on. Next we have The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which is obviously going to be based off of The Legend of Zelda The Twilight Princess. When Ganondorf returns to power, Link enlists the help of an otherworldly ally to stop the demonic warlord's rule. Link starts off in this movie, he's in a coma. He wakes up in a remote village that's like deep in the forest, and he doesn't know how he got there. because he was, unconscious the whole time. He must stop Ganondorf because Ganondorf is quickly gaining power over Hyrule because of how much power he has. But what Ganondorf didn't realize, in resurrecting Dark Link, he awakened the Twilight Realm and beings within it. So Midna escapes the Twilight Realm and tries to help Link. And Link realized the person who brought Link there to that village was named Sheik. There's a little bit of elements of Ocarina of Time thrown in there. So for this movie to blend in better, Midna granted Link the ability to turn into a wolf. So that element of Twilight Princess has returned. So Link and Midna search for Sheik to help them return to Hyrule and stop Ganondorf from ruling. So at this time, there was another being who escaped the Twilight Realm. His name is Zant, who idolized Ganondorf and admired him for being able to wield such dark power. So the team has many run-ins with Zant, and basically they gotta push through all that to be able to get to Ganondorf and finish him once and for all. Now I'm gonna get into spoilers. A lot of this story is actually gonna be the same as well, so the only spoilers that really occur is ones I think true Zelda fans and even Smash Bros fans will know, is that Sheik turned out to be Zelda who escaped Ganondorf's clutches and hid as a member of another village to try to conceal her presence from Ganondorf, who is still searching for her, because again, she can control the Triforce, and that's why Zelda is useful to Ganondorf. And the other spoiler is, once they get to Ganondorf, Link is finally able to kill Ganondorf. Link runs the Master Sword through Ganondorf's chest, but this is after Midna had to sacrifice herself to make Ganondorf vulnerable to that. So Ganondorf finally acknowledges Link's willingness to kill, and Ganondorf, overwhelmed by the power of the Triforce within the Master Sword, turns to dust, all Infinity War style. They leave his dust and ashes on top of the hill where the final battle took place. Sadly, Midna sacrificed herself to be able to do that, and she dies. And that's The Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess, the end of the Legend of Zelda trilogy. Obviously, that was very still cliff notey, but again, a lot of it'll be very accurate to the game, so just think of that. And so for the end credits scene, on the outskirts of Hyrule, there's an army preparing to ambush it. It is an army of hand troops controlled by the Master Core, and they are there to steal something very valuable, but that doesn't get revealed until later. So there's that. It's about to go down. The second and third Super Smash Bros. Movies are gonna be insane. Alright, we're almost there. Next up, Super Smash Bros. World of Light and Darkness Part 1, the long-awaited sequel to the first Super Smash Bros. Movie. When a plot is discovered to release an ancient, unspeakably evil deity from its imprisonment, the Super Smash Bros. Reunite to prevent its escape. It's basically going to go down here. Those visions that Mario has been having of this Galeem person, which they don't know the name of yet, he finally returns to the headquarters that the Super Smash Bros. Have established and tells Samus about it. Samus informs Mario that she has been dealing with dark troops rising up. They weren't super difficult to deal with, but she informs Mario that there have been instances of troops of darkness showing up out of nowhere, and Samus having to deal with them. And of course, the timing seems too convenient. Meanwhile, on Hyrule, that army that was on the outskirts of Hyrule, they want something very valuable, which is the Triforce. And now I'm gonna get into spoilers. So the reason why those troops of darkness have awakened in the first place dates all the way back to the end credits scene, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, where Ganondorf uses dark magic to resurrect Dark Link from the grave. Ganondorf used enough dark magic to awaken the Master Core, the Master Giant, the Master Beast, and the Master Blades. Basically, it's like the Black Order, but for Nintendo. This army attacks Hyrule, and they destroy a lot of the kingdom to try to get to the Triforce. Because when they get the Triforce, they'll be able to open a gateway to the Light Realm and rescue Darken, who's been imprisoned there. And so they kidnap Zelda, who has secretly given Link a piece of the Triforce. So Zelda still has 2 of them, but she doesn't have all 3 of them that they need to get into the Light Realm. So Link is defeated badly, and he's now floating down a river, where Mario and Samus finally go to Hyrule to see what's going on, where they see Link there. Link explains the situation to Mario and Samus, and they summon all the other Smash Bros. This is also where Pit makes his debut. He noticed that recently 2 ancient beings have begun to awaken, Galeem and Darken. Pit is from the Light Realm, where diplomats or representatives from their realms will meet and try to create peace within all the realms. So Pit explains that Galeem has begun to awaken because of Mario and Link using all that subspace energy to defeat Taboo. He said that was enough to awaken Galeem, and that 100 years ago, when Ganondorf became Calamity Ganon, it was enough dark power to awaken Darkin. So different things that all the Super Smash Bros. Have done to awaken these two beings are finally being realized to them. So this symbol right here is going to be very important in the movie. What it is, not only is it the symbol of life, it is also the literal symbol of the story between the epic battles between Galeem and Darkin. So at the beginning of time, Galeem was created by the gods of light to spread light and peace wherever he went. So the gods of darkness learned about this and they created their own being, Darkin, to help maintain the balance. Galeem just wanted peace, but Darkin wanted power. And so for centuries, these two beings have been fighting each other across the multiverse, taking the lives of billions and even trillions. So Pit explains this story to them, and the reason this symbol comes into play is because the gods finally intervened, and after using all of their efforts, they were finally able to contain Galeem and Darkin. And so what this symbol means in this cinematic universe is what happened to them is they agreed to let Darkin be imprisoned in the light realm, where his powers will be suppressed, and have Galeem be imprisoned in the Dark Realm, where his powers will be suppressed. So what this symbol is this is the Light Realm, and this is Darkin, and then this is the Dark Realm, and this is Galeem. That was how the gods have been able to keep balance for millennia, is keeping those two trapped in their opposite domains. But they've spent long enough time in there to be able to adapt to those conditions. And the Master Core, which is Darkin's ultimate lieutenant, his plan is to break Darkin out of prison so he'll be able to spread darkness across the multiverse. And so the Super Smash Bros. Learn of this. They do everything in their power to find more fighters. They find Shulk, who is able to see briefly into the future. Mewtwo joins them, who is another manipulator of subspace energy. Pokemon trainer Red has added Lucario to his team. Pyro and Mirtha joins them. I don't know if those two fighters, and a lot of Xenoblade fighters have joined them as well as Ike and Marth's Fire Emblem friends, as well as Lucas and a lot of other people joining them. And so they do everything in their power to protect Link, because he has the last piece of the Triforce, and to retrieve Zelda from the clutches of the Master Core. So they're able to go to where they are. They're able to free Zelda from her imprisonment and capture the Master Core while they're at it. That's how they find out about them planning to release Darkin from prison with the Triforce. It also gets revealed to the Smash Bros. That the Master Core is actually a being of light who created the Dart Star. So even though the Dart Star is called the Dart Star, it was actually a fragment of light which was sensitive to the subspace particle. So their base gets ambushed, the Master Core is freed, and they steal the last piece of the Triforce, which is a gateway for them to get to the Light Realm and attempt to free Darkin from his imprisonment. And so the Super Smash Bros., they go to the Light Realm and they attempt to defend the Light Realm against these troops of darkness. After an epic battle, Darkin is eventually freed and they return to the Dark Realm. After this happens, Link and Zelda, after talking a lot about it, they realize the only one that can get into the Dark Realm, which is actually the Twilight Realm, is Ganondorf. But the problem was, Link killed Ganondorf. So what he has to do is the same method that Link does in, I believe it was The Adventure of Link, that Link had to pour his blood over Ganondorf's ashes to return Ganondorf to life. Obviously, Zelda was pissed because the whole reason that why they were able to kill Ganondorf in the first place was because Midna sacrificed herself. Now it was like her sacrifice was for nothing. Obviously Link felt horrible about that, but they didn't have any choice. And so Samus go to the Dark Realm where they learn a little bit about Darkin. Keep in mind, these beings, Darkin and Galeem, they have their same forms that they have in Smash Ultimate, but they can also have, not human forms, but they can also have forms in the shape of humans, if that makes sense. And Darkin spends a lot of time in his human form. So they learn about Darkin's epic plan. They get discovered, and they barely escape. At this time, Darkin is going to release Galeem from his imprisonment in the Dark Realm, and he wants to merge with Galeem to create the ultimate being of light and darkness. And so Samus go back to the Smash Bros. Headquarters to try and warn them of Darkin's impending attack, but it's too late at that point. Galeem has merged. He's become this massive being of light and darkness, and he decimates the Super Smash Bros., steals the subspace particles, and sends a giant wave of darkness across the multiverse, destroying all life. And that's the end of the movie. And there is no post-credit scene. Alright everyone, for this final movie, Super Smash Bros. World of Light and Darkness Part 2. I don't know if you guys are ready for the synopsis. If you're watching this video right now and you didn't watch the spoilers, you might not want to see this last one because this entire movie is a spoiler. But basically, for the ones who don't want to be spoiled, it's about this great being who uses the subspace particles to spread calamity across the multiverse. That's all I can say without spoiling it. The rest of this is going to be spoilers. Now let's get into this. Now let's get into the synopsis. But before I get into that, I must say this: when Galeem and Darkin merged into one being, their names became combined, and his name is now Darkleem. Combination of Darkin and Galeem. So I'm just saying that before I read the synopsis. Super Smash Bros. World of Light and Darkness, Part 2. After Darkleem uses the power of the subspace particles to wipe out all of life in the multiverse, he will stop at nothing to build his new empire and decimate all opposition against him. It's gonna go down. I'm gonna explain a little bit more in detail exactly what happened to everyone. So basically, Darkleem uses the subspace particles he spread out a giant, just this giant blast, a multiversally vast darkness blast that didn't necessarily kill anyone, but basically, if this darkness blast touched you, your body disintegrated into dust, a lot like Infinity War, but only your skeleton remains, because it gets revealed later that the darkness blast doesn't affect bones. So your body still decays and becomes, you know, not living, but your skeleton will remain. And that's what happens to not only the Super Smash Bros., all of them, including Mario and Link and all the important people, but all life in the entire multiverse, except for the Light Realm. So now, if you really don't want to get spoiled, you might want to leave now because it's going to get heavy. There is one Super Smash Bros. Fighter who survives the Darkness Blast. Kirby. And here's how Kirby survives. Not only does the Darkness Blast not have any effect on bones, it also doesn't affect troops of darkness. For example, the Master Hands, the Master Beast, the Master Giant, all the Dark Troops. So what Kirby does to survive is he sees a lone Master Hand troop as the Darkness Blast is about to get him. Kirby inhales the Master Hand, becomes a troop of darkness, and survives the Darkness Blast. So the rules of the Darkness Blast are a lot the same as Subspace. Basically, if you get hit initially by the Subspace or the Darkness, something really bad will happen to you. Your body will decay and do all that stuff. But once you're in it, if you find a way to survive, then you're good. So Kirby realizes that once the Darkness Blast has passed him, he's free to roam about now, and that's how Kirby survives. So after Darkleem used the subspace particles to decimate all life in the multiverse, he loses control of the subspace particles. Because they were used at such a large scale, because they were used to decimate all life in the multiverse, the particles had to separate in order not to destroy everything. And so the four particles scattered across the multiverse. Darkleem lost the particles, but the deed had already been done, and one of the particles actually ends up where Kirby is. And so slowly but surely, Kirby must revive the fighters that have been lost, because what a manipulator of subspace energy could do is bring a fallen Super Smash Bros. Fighter back to life by reconstructing his or her body with the subspace particle. But since it's been corrupted by the darkness, it'll become a troop. It'll become an agent of darkness, much like what you see here, but instead of serving Galeem, they're serving Darkin, or in this case, Darkleem. So when he tries to revive the main fighters, Mario, Link, Zelda, Samus, all those guys, they get corrupted by the darkness, and they work for Darkleem now. Darkleem learns that he can create troops that will swear unwavering loyalty to him. So he instructs his manipulators of subspace energy to find more fighters that'll serve him. So it was kind of Kirby's bad, but in his defense, he didn't know that this would happen. So he gets imprisoned by Darkleem because he eventually gets discovered, but before that, he's able to revive Zelda to her true self, because what he had to do was knock Zelda out and use more subspace energy to revive her old self. So Zelda is able to escape with a subspace particle, and Zelda's kind of the last defense. So Zelda ventures across different realms to try and find different fighters. So because Galeem is merged with Darkin, Galeem can sense the presence of subspace particles if it's in the same realm. So what Zelda has to learn, if any manipulator of subspace energy is not in the same realm as Galeem, she can use subspace energy to revive fighters. So slowly but surely, she finds more people to revive. Her team starts out with Meta Knight, King Dedede, Luigi, and Ness. And so they slowly make their way there. Bayonetta will make her debut. She finds another subspace particle in the Mushroom Kingdom, and so they meet up she had been reviving some people as well. And once they get everyone back, they're ready for the final battle against Darklean, while summoning more fighters to help them out. And it'll be a glorious finale. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to go too into details about the actual final battle because I want that to be a new experience for everybody. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this. I've been recording this for almost 2 hours, just talking about these ideas that I've had in my head. I don't know if Nintendo's actually going to pick this up, but hey, if they make a universe inspired by this, it came from this video first, basically. Oh, and I know you guys are thinking,
T-Rex, you're really thinking of this because they announced the Mario movie.
Actually, I've been having a Mario movie idea for a long time. See, I'll prove it to you. See, look at that. Edited over a year ago because I just decided to start thinking about it. I was writing scripts and I just got lazy. So yeah, I've been thinking about this stuff for a long time. Obviously, that was still very brief, but if I can get the full ideas, like, pitched to Nintendo, see if they like it. I mean, maybe this could be, like, something really huge. I mean, I don't know if the Super Mario Bros. Movie coming out next year, I don't know if it's gonna, like, have any elements of the Mario movie I had in mind, or if they're gonna, like, incorporate Smash Bros. Into it, but if they need an advisor, I will do my best to guide them, if they somehow find this. But I at least wanted to share this on the internet. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I've been wanting to share my ideas and dreams with all of you guys for a long time now, so I'm glad I was finally able to express this in, I guess, some form of way. Obviously, I left a lot of details out because even though there were spoilers in this video, there could have been some mega spoilers I'd throw at you guys, and I don't want to just do that. For those of you who watched the whole video, like, even with the spoilers, hopefully it won't take away from your movie experience if they do actually make this into a thing. I doubt it. But for those of you who skipped the spoilers, don't want to be spoiled, I can respect that. So however much of the video you watched, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again for listening to my crazy ideas. Hopefully this can all be executed well on the big screen if that ever happens. And yeah, I'm gonna end this here. If you all enjoyed this video, make sure you guys smash like and subscribe to join the herd. Become a VIP herd member today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!